The time being 6:30, I call the Ashland Planning Board meeting of September 18th, 2025 to order. This is being recorded for everyone to know. Roll call, Andy Fitch.
Here.
Trish.
Here.
Linda.
Present.
Bethany. Here. I'm Kendall Hughes. John Thomas.
Here.
John Harville.
Here.
And Donna Licurdo.
Yeah.
Also here is Nathan Madola, Ron Beard, and Jane Sawyer is our land use secretary. If you could all stand for the pledge of allegiance, and look at the chief. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chief.
My country to be is a little.
In here, we have the minutes of November 4th. Have you all had a chance to read them over, or do you want to wait till next meeting? Tony, okay. Mhm. Do I have a motion on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, do I have a second? That would be. Linda, do you second that?
Just, I did have one question,
Okay,
sorry, on page 2, from line 80. The chairman who stated that he would prefer to speak directly to the DES representative. We also then discussed how that would happen.
okay, so you're gonna second it and then we can discuss it.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I second,
Okay.
sorry about that.
All of those in favor, which are going to be those present at the meeting, would be Tricia, Linda, and myself. Do you say aye? Opposed? It passes unanimously with 3 of us. I have 2 abstaining members. All right, line 80.
Yeah, just in addition to your having said that you would pretty speak directly with the DES representative. We actually planned, Mr. Hess informed us that the DES representative would be coming the following day, and we indicated that we wanted representatives from the planning board to go on that, to meet with him as well as with Mr. Hess to do a walkthrough through the site. So that it was, or just to say that there was an actual plan in place that we agreed to, and Mr. Hess said that he would contact Ron Beard the following day. And that Mr. Beard would then contact several members of the planning board. Ultimately, that ended up not happening, but that was what we all agreed to.
So you want to add, we'll plan to meet with the engineer and the DES on Friday for him to coordinate with Ron for the walkthrough for the planning board.
Yeah, I think it's just, but yes, please, because I'd like
Yeah.
to see that as part of what we.
Yeah.
Made like.
Tricia, do you have any issue with that?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor of adding that, say aye. Aye. Opposed, it passes unanimously. Any other changes?
Yeah.
Okay. All of those in favor of the minutes as presented, say aye.
With the amendment.
With the amendment. Aye, motion passes with 2 abstentions. Okay, public hearing on the compact zone. Do I have a motion for that?
Yeah, I'd like to motion that we move that to October 2nd.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. So we're gonna move the public hearing on the compact zone to October 2nd, and that's just to move this along tonight. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. NFAR, Mr. Goff. EFAR, sorry.
Thank you. It's an awful lot of people for a boundary line adjustment. Thanks for coming. You know, it's actually EFAR, Kendall.
EFAR, I'm sorry,
Do you
sir.
know what it stands for?
I'm afraid I don't.
Everything happens for a reason.
Well, there you go.
20 years into this project, I have no idea where I'm still. I am here tonight representing the development entity, EFAR. And what we're really trying to do is finish out phase one, which began in 2011. And we're trying to adjust four property lots, so we can move them kind of from where they once were in the top of the project down to a lower level. So it's phase one had 24 lots approved. We've sold 20, and we'd like to move these to a lower location so we can develop them. I think it's really pretty as simple as that.
Okay. What I have here is the application for the boundary line adjustment is to create 4 additional lots in phase one. Phase one currently has 20 lots. It was approved initially to be 24 lots. The additional lots will bring the development into total original approval. It's a boundary line adjustment from other boundary line adjustments that we've made in the past. FYI, phase 2 is an approved 20 lots. Phase 3 is an approved 17, so that there will be a total of 61 as approved and set forth by the initial plans approved by the planning board and recorded in Grafton County Registry of Deeds. That was almost 20 years ago,
2011.
2011.
It just seems like 20 years.
Does, no objections have been received from the 46 abutters which have been notified. A couple have inquired to what was being proposed, but did not file any objections. Once they understood it, this was submitted to us by the Land Use Secretary Jane. She's gone over your application and have no issues with it, correct?
Correct.
Okay, if the board could look over the application and make a recommendation. I do have the large map here. You should have a smaller map. I can give you the large map if you'd like it. You can see it up there. If anyone wants to. So what I'm looking is to accept the. Yes, this would be lots 4, 9, 18, and 24 for final completion of phase 1. And I'm just looking to have the application complete. I do understand that there was a miscalculation in the fees and you'll need to see Jane to take care of that.
Oh, yes, we checked.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Correct. I need a motion to accept the application as complete first.
I move to accept the application is complete.
Okay, Linda has moved to accept the application is complete. Bethany is second, the application is complete. All those in favor say, or any discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Now for the lot line adjustment. Do we have any further discussion on that?
No.
Are there any conditions which you would like to impose upon him for these? In which case, do I have a motion to accept this as done and ready to move forward?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of the boundary line adjustment to move forward, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, sir. You have passed.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
If you see Jane, you can take care of the rest of that.
Will do.
Sure. That will look right. I better show it.
You can take me.
Sounds good.
Next order of business is a presentation by Jenny Angel.
Hi, thank you all for coming. As Kendall said, I'm Jenny Angel. And just for the record, I am on the select board. But I'm here speaking on behalf of Jenny Angel. I'm not representing anything from the board. This is something I put together that I feel strongly about. And the discussion is about the village at Mill Pond, which is being developed as workforce housing, which is also known as affordable housing. And I know there's been discussion back and forth whether it's affordable or house or whatever, but I do have this flyer that was put out by the Lakes Region Community Developers that, and it's in your packet, and it clearly states that 76 units of workforce rental housing. So that's where this started. So the question, what is workforce housing? And what it says here is really what it is. The village at Mill Pond is a new construction of 76 units of workforce rental housing located on Mill Pond Lane. Property serves individuals and families at or below 30%, 50%, 60% for 80 to 120% of the Grafton County area median income. So that was what this was for. So affordable housing, what is the definition of affordable housing? It's not a fixed. There is a variety on the gross, that's the way that there is. Workforce housing, there's an RSA in New Hampshire. And it says workforce housing is housing that is affordable to a renter, earning up to 60% of the area median income for a family of 3, paying no more than 30% of their income on renting utilities. Or a homeowner earning 100% of the area median income for a family of 4, paying no more than 30% of their income. So there are adjustments made to accommodate these people. HUD housing is also affordable can be affordable housing, and if you're in HUD housing, you may get, the federal government might be Section 8, they may pay some of your rent. And then we have affordable senior housing and the Common Man senior housing up on West Street. That is affordable housing. They made a deal with the town. They don't pay the school portion of the taxes. So it makes it more, they can make it more affordable for their residents because their costs are low. New Hampshire law states very clearly that communities must provide their, this is in quotes, fair share of, in quotes, affordable housing. And there was a case of, a case law in New Hampshire, Britain versus Chester, where the Supreme Court held that every municipality, must provide a reasonable and realistic opportunity for development of affordable housing. The court also reiterated the regional needs surrounding communities are relevant and required communities in New Hampshire to provide a proportionate or fair share of affordable housing. That's what they're saying. I will here show that Ashland already provides more than its fair share of affordable housing. And I will then describe why the Mill Pond development is, I feel, detrimental to the town. So first, we have seen a few things around where where the developer has said, well, it's gonna be market rate. Well, there's a problem with that. The developer, Lakes Region Community Land Trust, who is the developer, has documents that were filed in 1988, and this paragraph still says the exact same thing today. Their mission is to provide access to housing and productive resources through the acquisition of land, acquisition, lease, and sale of property for lower income households and other disadvantaged people. That's their charter. So they can't just go say, well, we're just gonna build market rate housing because their charter says this is what they have to do. If it's, they're not doing this, so it's outside of their charter. So in Grafton County, if you got the handouts, we got a couple of charts. Couple of charts, Grafton County. We have about 1,964 people who. And for the HUD housing in Ashland, for the total population in Grafton County, there is 2.1% of the total population of Grafton County are using HUD housing services. Ashland is doing 3.2% of the population for HUD housing. So there we're more than our fair share for the HUD housing. And then if we go to another group, Lakes Region, which is this other issue here. Lakes Region. This is for this track goes through restricted income housing. The total population of Lakes Region is 125,258. Ashland has 1964. We're 1.5% of the population of the Lakes Region. But we have 4.23% of the HUD house, of the income restricted housing. So we're doing more than our fair share there. And affordable housing in town includes Amesbrook, which some of you might know it as Ledgewood, Common Man, senior housing, Highland Apartments, those are senior housing. And then we also have a lot of lower cost housing by small landlords. A lot of these were big houses that have been broken up. And we have the lower cost housing because 24.7% of the residents in Ashland, or about 485 of them, are currently living below the poverty line. So we have that many below the poverty line. Then you gotta think about it. There are a lot of people who are living just barely above the poverty line. So we have a fairly large group of people who some would say are distressed financially. But as I said, we're clearly providing housing because they're living there. And Ashland is not a community that is trying to push them away and say, not in my neighborhood. We embrace everybody who lives here. I know Anne Marie with the school, with the Prox program, they get donations, scholarships, so the kids can go on the teams, so the kids go to summer camp. We do whatever we can to embrace the people, to help them. So we're not trying to push anybody away. So how some of these developers do this is the developer can work with others to put housing in where the applicants can pay less than market rate. And there are a number of ways there the developer can afford to do this. One is the state works up what is called a capitalization rate. And I don't think you have this thing, but this is one from Amesbrook. And what it is, they work with the state. They come up with a rate for the whole county that's applied to the value, and it reduces the assessed value for the town. So the owner of the property who's providing the affordable housing actually pays less taxes, pays less property taxes. That's how that works. And so for like the Amesbrook, this is a couple years ago, but they were paying $42,000 a year in taxes. There are some people with single family houses who are paying more than that. So of course they're the rich people, but they are. And I have been told, and this right or wrong, that Mill Pond might be 38 to 55, and I think I saw something in it, it's like a little more than that. But it depends on the capitalization rate, what programs are, these programs are coming. So the next thing is, well, why is this bad for the community? We've got a number of people, we've got a good proportion of people who are lower income, so putting in affordable housing seems like a no-brainer. Because we need housing, people should be able to have quality housing to live. But the problem is, we've got to reduce tax, we've got. Problem is, who is going to pay for this? And in your packet that Ron put this together, you've got, this is mine, my thing on this side, but if you turn it over. You see a document that was created by the Mill Pond people. This is not me, this is Mill Pond. And if you go to page 2 of the document. It says. The net impact to the school, This development is going to cost the town. After they pay their taxes, according to the developer, and I say, okay, you look at the cost of developer, they're gonna be a little low, you look at the top cost of school, they're gonna be a little lot high, but you know, there's somewhere in there. These are the developer's figures, that it's going to be a net deficit to the town of $476,000. Every year, not just the first year, this is every year. So that 476 or whatever it is. Still has to be raised because the town has these expenses. So what happens is it gets added to the tax bill. So you got people, rich people up in the hill paying, and no one's gonna feel sorry for them, you know, no. As I talked about before, you have a lot of small landlords who are providing, well, their taxes are going up. Well, the only things they can do if their taxes are going up, these are those small landlords providing housing, lower income housing. They either have to raise the rent, lower the quality of the maintenance, which lowers the quality of the housing, or both. So what happens with this is generally when you do a project, you've got investors decide whether they want to invest in it. But here you've got people living below the poverty line or right at the poverty line having to help finance this project. They don't have a choice. Their rent's going up. So part of the financing of this project is on your backs. And this is, so my whole thing on this is, this program is an unfunded mandate. And when it's put into a financially stressed community, it makes a poor town horrible. And what some states are starting to put in, and we don't have it here. At least I haven't seen, they just passed some housing and I haven't, housing regulations, and I haven't read them, so. But I haven't heard that they've changed. They've started to put in legislation where if a community is at 20% or higher of residents living below the poverty line, they do not have to add more affordable housing because it puts the community on the downward spiral as well. So while I'm all for quality housing for everybody, this particular project, the way it gets funded, is helping almost $500,000 every year that the town's going to have to raise to pay for this. As well. So I is respectfully requesting that the planning board consider rejecting the application. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. All questions will go through the chair.
My question is,
Could you state your name?
I'm Aaron Slisky. I'm the new owner of the dam at Mill Pond here. My question is a little complicated, but not really. So there's 2,000 people in town roughly, and the tax bill is gonna go up by 400,000. Are you going to put it more on businesses and push those?
We don't have that
people away?
choice, we don't have that.
How do you, no, but how do you divide? the
Yes,
split?
and it-
You know what I mean?
You
How
get
do
it?
you divide between, splitting between between people who live here and the business?
It's based on property values.
Property values.
It's just everything.
Right.
That's my
Yeah.
Sir,
Name is Paul Hicks, live on River Street. Your conversation talking about on the stats and stuff like that, you had made mention about that Ashland. And the percentages of what they do have for low income housing, so on and so forth. Is there a limit to what any town can have, or, you know what I'm saying, as far as, let's say you could have 30. And we've met that 30 as far as what the state has
so
mandated.
as her previous statement at the end was, our state has not passed that law. Several of the states have, but ours has not at this time. So the answer is no.
No.
Just, so you know, we are,
Just fair share, which is not defined well anywhere.
and it's in my pack, but I understand, we have the highest rate of citizens living below the poverty line in Grafton County, and we are second in the state.
So there's nothing forcing us. To
There's
pass
nothing forcing us one way or the other. Okay. Yes,
Again, 31 Depot Street, is there anything that states that abutting towns have any obligation to fulfill this requirement that the state has put forward?
Well, as you see on my spreadsheets very specifically, Plymouth may be a little bit because we have a point, but none of the abutting communities in Ashland have
Right.
any assisted housing, low income housing, elderly housing, HUD housing,
Zero.
zero.
so,
Zero.
but every town in New Hampshire must follow New Hampshire housing standards.
But they don't. They're not fulfilling that up.
If they're not asked to, then they don't have to.
You know, if the land is expensive,
Want a copy of it?
I have it.
Okay.
yeah, if the land is too expensive, so they're going to go someplace where they think it's cheaper, this. Where is any laws for?
Okay, need to wrap this up.
And one other question.
Risk, but she hasn't
Okay,
asked one
that's
yet.
I'm quick.
Stacy Lembo, River Street. Will the people have a vote on this, or do the selectmen vote to bring a project?
Neither.
Don't.
Planning board, that's why we're here tonight.
So the planning board makes the decision, so we don't vote on it
And,
at all.
and whatever conditions are set in state rules and regulations based upon our planning rules and regulations as well. Michelle?
Maybe I just had a clarifying question. Well, on their executive summary, am I doing the math right? They're telling us that we're gonna have to be responsible for a physical impact of 4.7.
Yeah, that's what I said, yes,
The next 10 years.
no, forever. Forever.
If I multiply that out, that's $4.7 million in the next 10 years. I mean, put that into perspective, because we have a budget for the whole town, $4 million.
Right.
Three.
Yes,
We have a budget for the whole school, which is around that number. So I'm just looking at this saying, I know we have 10 or $20 million of the deferred maintenance between many different departments in our town. Talk about it, the budgeting. So this is just $4.7 million over 10 years.
and this
I
will,
don't see how we could possibly afford to do.
and this will provide housing depending on whose estimate, it might be for 150 people. This is what we're gonna have to pay.
Okay. Yes, Miss, sir.
Just a statement, my name is Gray, I live on Winona Road, have been a resident in Omaha for 45 years now. I just want to make a statement that as it sits today, we have a second poorest town in the state.
Yes.
So I don't know if we should take a cinder block from those women.
A cinder block.
Okay. We're gonna close the
So,
one last question.
more quick. So Ryan Kamal Drive in Ashland. So does this number change depending on like who are the people that are in
No.
the building? If it's like all vets or like all just disabled people and no children, so it's not adding people to.
Well,
the
okay,
school
this
system.
is, but what they did is they went and they looked at other, supposedly, this is from the developer, looked at the amount of kids and people in other similar developments, how many people were there, and how many kids in school, and that's where they came up with that. And I look at that stuff, they're probably low, and then I look at the schools have stuff, they're probably high, so it's probably
It's-
somewhere in
It's
between.
based off averages.
Yeah.
Is there a way to just make it for like disabled vets?
There is
Just
not.
like, not,
That's not the proposal before, so the answer is no.
so to not like add children to our school
Right.
system, there's no
Can't
way
do
to
that.
do that. Or,
Last question.
yeah.
So what are our options? How can the town protect itself?
Our planning board rules and regulations is what our protection is for anybody who comes before us for anything.
Think you're asked, how do we stop these people from putting in all this?
That planning board rules and regulations are what we have to govern by. If the rules and regulations allow, then we have to allow. If they don't, then we have to say where they don't. But we work in good faith with everyone who comes before us.
Do we know what our options are? I mean, do we have a way to stop no harm? Or do we not? If you have rules and regulations.
We just have our rules and regulations.
I'm
Correct me if I'm
asking
wrong.
what they are.
Yeah, do you have any to tell them?
Yeah, no, perfect.
Anything we can do to tell them no.
We have to go by our rules and regulations as set forth by the town, voted on the town. Every year, we have different rules and regulations that come before for votes.
Are there any rules or regulations that can stop this that we have in the town? I guess that's my question.
I have to let them do their presentation. Cannot answer that. And they're doing a new submittal today, so I don't know.
What about the fact that, like, I thought if it was a private road, like, it has to be voted on in order to, like, make it,
And that's what they're going to present tonight. We have to let them do their presentation tonight.
okay, but that will be a town vote for us to like.
No, that's
whether it's
with the Board of
okay
Selectmen.
Okay,
Does the Board of Selectmen have the legal counsel behind anything?
Yes, they have very good legal counsel. He's sitting right here,
Can I ask a question of the legal counsel?
possibly.
You can just tell me whether you can answer or not. Laura Schleck, 249 River Street. My question is, the town does not have to approve this project if it impoverishes the town, yes or no?
We're going to work through that. We cannot answer that at this time.
it looked like he was gonna answer it, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say that that's not really what's pending right now. Right now, what's pending is the presentation that's been made and the application is gonna be coming, I think, next up on the agenda.
Right.
Correct. So,
Some of that information. Yeah, you can have, that, I think some of the similar discussion now will happen.
right, we gotta let them make their presentation. She's only doing a presentation on affordable housing in Ashland and where it is and where it stands as a resident. For which we will close now. And Kara, you guys are welcome to come on up.
You're gonna need your remote.
First of all, though, are you prepared to answer the questions which you said you would answer at our next meeting?
The written question.
The written questions,
Go through.
the ones from the walk.
We can go through the answers that we submitted in writing.
Could you please, because the public would like to hear those,
Sure would.
and we keep getting asked for those even though we direct them to them.
Are the written answers available?
They are available publicly as well. But if you could give a brief synopsis of them, that would be greatly appreciated.
Are we gonna, will we officially open the public hearing?
I have not yet opened the public hearing on that. Do anybody want to answer the questions?
You need a motion for.
Okay. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing on Mill Pond Development continuation? Linda so makes that motion. Do I have a second? I have a second by Andy. All those in favor of opening it for debate, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, so go ahead.
Thank you. Before we get to those questions and answers, I just want to put on the record that the board just heard a presentation which did directly relate to the applicant's project, however, was a separate agenda item. That is highly irregular, and I have to put our objection to that on the record for purposes of appeal. And would also request that the full presentation be made part of the record for this application. The applicant does disagree with much of the information that was presented and will be responding separately in writing in advance of the next public hearing.
You want a copy of it?
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Thank you. So, my name is Jeff Lewis. I'm a principal engineer at Northpoint Engineering. The board and the audience has been here, but familiar with, different engineer from our office, Kevin Leonard, who was expecting to be here tonight, but is, sick. So we can, so I'm gonna do my best to kind of fill in and recap where we are, where we are, what we've done. I do have a copy of the, we did submit written response to all the questions that were presented to us. I see it was dated July 2nd, so it's been in the town since about that time. It's probably taking quite a bit of time to go through all those. I'm happy to do that if you want.
If you can just give a recap of the important part.
The important part,
Important parts.
I don't know what the important parts are. There were 50 plus comments. Which ones were important? 63 comments. If you want to tell me which ones were important, I'd be happy to.
All of them.
Or the public is, it's been available for over 2 months, so whatever you prefer. Anybody could read the responses right there. I have a number of other things that I wanted to do before that, if that's all right.
Yeah, it's just that the last time you guys said that, Kevin said that you guys would present.
With the
Right?
house is July.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm happy to present it or read it, whatever you want.
What do you guys want?
Start with the presentation.
All right. So we'll
So-
start with your presentation.
So my presentation is really just to update you on what we think, where we think we kind of left off and what the action items were. We worked before the board in July 17th. We have 2 applications, as I'm sure you're aware, the subdivision application and then the site plan application. We understand the town has, at the last meeting, the town was talking about getting a second legal opinion. We understand that that has happened here on a number of items. So hopefully the town is further along in your evaluation of any legal issues. We did have an opportunity to meet with the electric department on July 29th. That was organized by Mr. Beard. And reviewed utility layout items. It was 43, that was a very productive meeting. Plans were revised to address comments and input from the department. We also at that time had a request for more information from Brown Engineering, who did a technical review on these applications. And we revised the plan to address all comments that we submitted 2 weeks ago on September 4th, which was the request for us to have addressed all the comments from Brown Engineering. We addressed all the comments from department heads. We have not received any additional comments from department heads to date. So as far as we know, we've addressed all comments. A couple of the comments that we had addressed that were noteworthy were the fire chief had requested hammerhead at the center unit drive with a site plan. We added that to the plans. And then as I just mentioned, the utility layout from the electric department, we revised the plans to accommodate those comments. We did receive an updated memo from Brown Engineering yesterday with additional comments that are getting, his list is getting shorter and shorter. So I think we're working through most of those. The remaining ones seem to be focused on state permitting, which, as you're aware, we have not submitted state permits for. We want to make sure we're all clear with the planning board before we do that, which we're allowed to do. And there's still some remaining comments that have to do with industrial drive. My understanding is the town's still working through options for that, and this will be getting back to the team to see if there's any changes to the design up there. So we're kind of holding off on finalizing any comments that do the site plan up there until we get direction from the town. Also noteworthy is Vanessa Associates, who's our traffic consultant, they did correspond with the district engineer at NHAT and have shared their traffic study with the review engineer, which is the things something that was asked for them to do. So those are things that have happened since we were last before you in July. Regarding the subdivision application specifically, we're not aware of any additional, as I just mentioned, we're not aware of any additional comments from water, sewer, police, fire, public works. Electric plan updates were submitted 2 weeks ago. We have not received any reply on those. The one thing that is still outstanding is our waiver request. We had submitted, as you recall, we had a waiver request earlier in the year that was denied regarding the road width. So we revised the plans back in July to update the road, widen the road to meet the regulations, but we do have a waiver request regarding flow drainage within the road, which your regulations do not contemplate. So we presented that at the last meeting in July. There was a letter from Brown Engineering basically supporting that waiver request, saying that it makes sense to add closed drainage into that road. My understanding was that the board wanted to take some more time to deliberate on that item, so we're hoping that has happened. Since it has been a couple of months. So we're hoping to get we'd like to get a vote on that waiver tonight. We think unless there's other things you need us to address regarding that waiver. And I think we're in good shape on the subdivision. We're not aware of any other issues. We think that there's certainly a design subject to state permits, which we know we need. And we know we still need a final design of the retaining wall along Mill Pond, which is integral to the state permitting. So really, we're not inclined to move forward with either one of those things, that we have some feedback from the board or additional approval. So that's what we're hoping for tonight. And the second application, again, we submitted revised plans 2 weeks ago. The biggest change on that was the addition of a turnaround for the hammerhead for this fire department. We haven't received any additional comments. What else are you waiting for from us on that? If there's additional comments or additional things you need from us, we'd like to kind of be very board act on that as soon as you're ready. That's I think about all I wanted to say. We just have something else to add, and I'm happy to do whatever you want to do with these 3 comments.
Does the board have any questions? Let's do the waiver. What is your pleasure on the waiver? The waiver is to change the town requirements of open drainage to a closed drainage system. Correct?
That's correct to allow. Yep.
Who's going to maintain that?
Well, either way, I mean, the road would now be presented as a public road, as a municipal road at the end of the project. So that's what we're proposing. Whether it's a closed drainage or open drainage, that would affect that decision.
That's new to me.
I'm pretty sure that's been consistent with the application of the Mill Pond. We're talking about Mill Pond.
Mill Pond, correct, which is a private road.
Which is being proposed as a municipal road. Part of this project. That's been this case all. 50-foot right away, which is why we needed a waiver from the planning board.
Right, do I have a motion on to accept or deny the waiver?
I don't want to put us in that position tonight. I think we need to discuss this a little bit more. I was always under the impression that this was going to be a private road.
Okay. We have any other questions? So have you met all the abutters? Agreement with all the abutters with everything? And I haven't seen those on here. I know that Brown has said that those need to be on here.
I'm not sure
Abutters right of ways and easements.
As far as I know, the plan on, I'm not sure what exactly, what specific is that?
Oh, no, are you referring to the waterway?
I'm referring to. Yeah. Where is it? The abutter, I understand, has through yours and also has right of ways to the pond. Those are not depicted upon here. You've said in the past that those were going to be, is my understanding.
You know, about the dam,
Yes, the dam specifically.
that's.
That's something we're still working through right now. I don't think it's particularly relevant to the waiver request itself. But just to clarify what we were talking about previously, the road has, Mill Pond Lane has proposed, it's proposed as a public road. If the board is not inclined to approve that, then what we would have to do is enter into a maintenance agreement with all of the other abutters on the road, because under New Hampshire law, everyone who utilizes a private right of way has an obligation to contribute to the maintenance of the right of way.
Yeah.
So that would be, those are sort of the two options that.
You had said at a previous meeting that you could put a fence across it, a gate. If it wasn't a private road. Remember that?
If it wasn't a private road,
If it was a private road and restrict access in and out.
not at Winter Street. I mean,
No,
there's other-
on Mill Pond.
I mean, we could put a gate at the end of Mill Pond, but that wouldn't change the fact that anyone who utilizes that road to access their property would have.
That is true, yeah.
So those are sort of the two options. We've proposed it as a public right of way, which is why we're asking for the waiver. But if the board is not inclined to accept it that way, we're gonna have to go down that other route.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to discuss this a little bit more. I was unaware that this was going to be a public way. I was under the impression that it was owned by Mill Pond.
Right.
It is
We're not
currently owned
prepared.
by Mill Pond, but it's being proposed as a public right of way. We would dedicate the street to the town.
I think we need to discuss that a little bit more.
I mean, I mean, this is exactly where we were 2 months ago, I believe, so has there been no discussion about it since then, or?
And the discussion can happen and should happen, frankly, on the public record. If there's more information you need from us to make a decision and you let us know what that is, we'll happily provide that to you. But if a discussion needs to happen, it can certainly happen and should happen at one of these meetings on the record.
Linda?
Yeah, just a clarification question. So my recollection is that Mill Pond Lane is currently, is that a town road currently?
No,
No,
No, it's private, okay.
yes.
because it doesn't meet the town.
That it was proposed a while back, that if they took this essentially a public road, but that we never reached a decision on it. That's my recollection.
That's correct.
Okay.
That might have been while I was off the board.
And so this waiver, you're asking with the assumption that it would become a public road. And you would put in the drainage, but the town would then cover the cost for your cleaning it would become a public road sector. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding.
And exactly how much of this road would become public? How far in would it go?
It's everything that is shown on that plan right there to the cul-de-sac.
Oh, the top one you have right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the rest of the board is confused about this. It seems like this has been presented for quite a while.
Honestly, I thought it was a private road. After our last meeting, I thought it was determined that this would be a private road. And that's why you were asking for the closed drainage.
So I guess I have an additional question. Right now, there are existing residences on Mill Pond Lane, right? And that's private, or that's a private road, it's not public road. The development, which is going to be, I'm not sure if the question fully formulated, so it may come out sort of jumbled. But the part that Mill Pond is proposing to develop, would that be potentially private road, whereas the existing residences
That's.
would be public road?
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm not clear is if you're saying all the way into the cul-de-sac, that's well past.
What's proposed right now is that that entire road to the cul-de-sac is a public road. There's 4 frontage lots being created on. Cul-de-sac on would all be private.
Into the rental unit.
Correct.
Yeah, interior.
That is all proposed. as
Okay,
private.
so in other
Cul-de-sac
words, the
that.
houses that you proposing to build would Habitat for Humanity, which would be the houses being sold at market rate. You're saying that
It's a public road.
that the road that would serve those houses would be a public road maintained by the town, and anything to serve the apartments that you're proposing would be private road maintained by
That's correct.
units.
That's the way it's.
Instead,
Part of the application for the beginning.
okay, but that represents, and I understand
Yes.
correctly.
Right, and the selectmen would have to accept it as a public road. That's not in their purview to do that.
I was gonna say the selectmen have to.
Yes.
Yes.
What's the difference in cost of maintenance ballpark between open and closed?
I have no idea. It depends on what the.
We have,
Go ahead.
we have no closed drainage in the town, our rules do not allow for it.
No, I was just wondering.
Right, no, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
we don't know. And our department does not have expertise to it. Yes,
So, and the reason for the closed drainage is that because of the width of the road, or you're saying that
It's a very-
it's.
No, it's a very, I'm surprised, I hear you say that there's no closed drainage in the town of Town Meeting.
Correct.
So.
I believe that is true.
I believe that's true. I'm gonna just double check on that, but it's hard to believe that that is no catch basin. And then there's some right in Winter Street right near us, but, Winter Street's a closed drainage system. There's no ditch on the side of the road. Anytime you don't have a ditch on the side of the road, but you have a curb, that's closed.
there is a ditch on the side of Winter Street.
So if you have a curb, basically that's gonna be closed drainage. You don't have a curb, then it's, we call it open drainage. You really wanna have a ditch to get the water off the road, right? So your question was why we're proposing it here is because it's a very narrow road, trying to get through there. We have a pond, very sensitive environmental area on one side, and we have existing residents on the other. If we try to build a full width town road in there with a big open ditch with slopes, it's gonna be very disruptive to the neighbors that are out there. They'll end up driveway culverts under their drive and stuff like that. And the other side, there's not much we can do. It was way further to the depth, to the pond. It'd be hard
With the
to
slope
collect.
down.
We want to treat all this stormwater right now. I mean, as part of our permit, we want to collect as much of it as we can and treat it before it gets into the water body. Getting any catch basins and pipes is the way to do that. So, that's just, it's very clearly to us the best option out there. I think that as part of our state purpose, they'll agree with that. Your review supports the waiver and understands the concept, so. I think that there's a compelling reason not to do that. We haven't heard it. I'm not sure about the maintenance cost. We absolutely get information on that, but it'll have to do with what, Public Works Department currently does and what they're capable of doing. Yeah. Or that.
I'm not aware that the Public Works Director is aware that this is a part of the plan. If you do a closed drainage system, where's it gonna daylight to?
We have a detention basin right there that's designed on the plan. It's been there the whole time. That's to handle all the stormwater coming from Mill Pond Lane.
Yes,
So am I right in thinking if we were to approve this waiver, that doesn't determine one way or the other whether or not the select board approves
is
it as a
correct.
public road? It
That's
just
my
says
concern.
approving the request for putting drainage.
correct.
So to piggyback on what Linda's saying, my concern is, and why I asked you about the pricing, is if the selectmen decide not to approve it, then it could be a difference in what we're imposing on you as well as the other land abutters. So I don't know if we want to
Chicken and egg.
answer. It's a chicken and egg situation right now.
Yeah, we might have misspoken earlier. I just want to clarify. We're just based on the design that we have. We are going to want the waiver regardless of whether the road is public or private. And so a vote to approve the waiver is not a vote to accept the road or to, you know, not challenge the applicant's suggestion that the road be public. But I do understand that concern of cost and I appreciate that.
So then it sounds like we wait for that information. For the answer to that, right? Cost. I don't know.
No, I don't know if the cost makes any real difference.
I
Yeah,
don't think it
I
does.
don't think we need a promise because it's up to the select board to ask these questions.
Right. It's still be up to select board. The better environmental thing would be to grant the waiver.
How you guys feel about it? Thank you.
I'll make a motion to grant the waiver.
I'll second.
Andy was just gonna say something.
Sorry, Andy, I apologize.
No, I was just trying to get a hand for how everybody felt.
Okay, I have a motion by Bethany, second by Linda, to grant the waiver on a closed drainage system for the area known as Mill Pond area. Mill Pond Road. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is there anything else that the board has questions on?
No, not regarding that.
Not regarding that, anything
Yeah, no.
on the applicant before us?
Are you gonna open it up for public comment?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I do have a question, and I just might be being real blonde over here, and it's okay if I am. You're saying that you did up the hammerhead instead of the circle?
Not to the circle, it's on the, what is that?
Perfect, thank you.
At the very end of the left-hand side of the plan, that was just dynamic, one of the, they wanted to turn over.
Exactly what I was looking for, thank you.
Chief, you good with that?
That was done based off of the code. They would have canopy code and they put that in strictly off of the code.
And for the record, the fire chief was gay. All right, anything else?
There was a question earlier up here from the gentleman in the black shirt with the hat on. He has his hand up for a while.
Sir, state your name.
It's like open now.
It is open now.
Aaron Slisky, one of the owners of the dam at the end of Mill Pond Lane there, or through their property. I would just like to read you our easements through their property that they just said, there's basically no problem with. A, the right to pass and repass in common with others entitled thereto at the grantee's own risk over and across the certain right of way 50 feet in width running from and construct premises to Winter Street, which right of way is depicted as an unnamed roadway on sheet 2 of the plans recorded in the draft and deeds, observing the grantor and successors be assigned the right to change the exact location of the 50-foot right of way. So basically, from Winter Street all the way to the property on the bottom of that map, it's not shown. We have a 50-foot easement that they can move the shape of it, but we have the right to go through 50 feet, unencumbered, nothing built on it. And that one's relatively small. But as you can see, coming off the end of the cul-de-sac, you go down to those condos. There's that little neck down and then a little swooping thing down to our property. That is not 50 feet. Obviously with that. B, the non-exclusive right to dredge, remove soil, rocks, sediments from Mill Pond, provided that such dredging and removal operations shall be performed at the grantee's own expense and risk, and in compliance with any and all state statutes, ordinances, governments saying now or hereafter enforced. If you see the bottom right of the bottom plan there's a house, a condo that is less than 50 feet from the shoreline. And I would argue that it's very difficult to maintain the edge of the pond when there's a house that close. Oh, C, The right to erect and maintain poles, supports, guys, and wires over and across lot 2 as depicted, which is that lot. With electricity and telephone service. The exact location of said poles, supports, guys, and wires shall be by mutual consent of the parties and shall thereupon become permanent. Does anybody see any power lines or poles on the plan? I don't. D, the right to raise the water level in the mill pond to a height of 496.7 feet above the mean, approximate mean sea level based upon an assumed benchmark of 500 feet above approximate mean sea level located at the top of the foundation on the westerly side of the mill. That means we can raise and lower the water level of the pond so that we can generate more power. Been that way since 1870 or so. And my problem with that is that all of their plans show a tip. And I have not really gotten a good response, and it should be when we want it. Oh. E, the right to maintain the slopes of, E, the right to maintain the slopes and banks along the shore, no pond on the main land of the drain. All right, I skipped ahead, but the problem. So I don't fully understand why they say that everything is all happy, peachy, and it's not. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I could just respond briefly. We have been attempting to engage with the owner of that property in order to discuss the easements. We understand that they're there. We're not ignoring them. And listen, we fully acknowledge that if we were to get this plan approved and could not work things out with them, that would be a problem for us. But by all means, discuss with your lawyer. The fact that an easement exists and that we have to have that discussion with a third party is not a basis for denying the site plan application.
Yes, ma'am.
So to piggyback off of that, Ryan Kamel, 6 Kamel Drive. So if they don't agree with all of this, you can still like go ahead.
We can get our site plan application, but if we build something that interferes.
But that's their property, so they're not
Our
allowed
site
to be
plan
like, no, you
application,
can't do
our
that.
site plan application is separate from development. So approval of the site plan application is one thing, actually engaging in development is another. If we do something in actually physically on the property that interferes with their rights, that's an issue. That is separate from
But you
approval of the site plan
You
application.
shouldn't be able to do anything to begin with if they disagree with it, their property. So
I will let the
Okay,
board
we
discuss
will
that with their
decide.
attorney.
Sorry.
Sure.
Richard Gridley, no Pond. Going back to his point, 50-foot right of way, we're speaking about maybe a 26 or 28-foot road going down there. Where does the 50-foot, is that the middle of the pond back to my property line? Where do we get 50 feet when there isn't 50 feet to be had? I've asked this before, we did the walk, we weren't allowed to speak. However, I don't think it's really been truly answered. Where can you start your property on the water line when it's low, when it's high, when it's somewhere in between? Where do you guys even begin to pull your boundary from the riverside?
The 50 feet is from your property
Yeah.
on Mill Pond Lane,
Mhm.
50 feet towards the pond. That's the 50-foot right of way.
Right.
But the road needs to be built within that, which is what is shown on these plans right here. So we're building that 28-foot road within that 50-foot right of way. I mean, the right of way falls in different spots as you go down there in terms of relative closeness to the water. Some of it's down on the slope, some of it was so, which is why we need, in order to build that road, we need to go on the blue wall. So I'm not sure that answers your question, but if you go from your property line 50 feet towards the pond.
That's my
that-
point.
That's
They
the
right
right
to walk through, they struggle to get to 28 feet. So if that's the case, where's the other 12 feet? Where's
What's
that
down
come
from,
from?
it's down, it's just, it's down, the slope. It's down the slope.
So what you're saying is you'd be building a retaining wall and then filling in to come up with the 50 feet.
Yes, yes.
So my question is, again, I've asked this, I just asked it a minute ago. Where at the water level, ground, wetlands, what have you, where does your property start? That's my question. Do you have to be X amount of feet from the river? Do you have to be X amount of feet from the wetland, not just standing water?
I'm looking at the plan right now, and I'm telling you, it's not, the property line is shown on our plan. And it's not, doesn't follow the current water line. So there is a heated property line out there. It's shown, so again, they're
In the
On the
pond.
law, DES is going to, correct me if I'm wrong, DES is going to be the ones that figure that out. That is within,
There must be.
I understand, but it falls within the purview of DES, and we've been told we cannot interfere with DES.
Right, and I'm not asking.
So that's why I don't have an answer
Where
for
does
you.
it- There's gotta be a law that says you've gotta be within 3 feet of standing water or 3 feet from wetlands or something. There's gotta be a law that's common knowledge. Somebody must know the answer. He's an engineer. I would think he would have some common sense, but I don't. But I'm asking the first, second time, so. There's gotta be.
We don't have an answer for you. It's his answers,
Okay.
correct?
But depends, when you talk about constructing, the physical construction of the road and the improvements, there's, you're talking about shoreline setbacks, as we're talking about, you will need a shoreline permit for this. There are rules and there's regulations for that, and there's waivers that you can get from that, so there are, it depends on what you're building, if you're building a house, if you're building what's out there, what's existing out there, or what you're doing for improvement, so you're doing something to improve the water quality, so it's gonna be all my question is one of many that were part of our shoreline permit application for the DES. So the answer to the question is, yeah, we feel confident we can get a permit for DES, to build this road.
To go 22
Operate that.
feet past the road and build your road, you feel confident.
Yes.
Question, where is the electrical poles?
Where are the electrical?
Where are they physically located currently?
And I believe all the existing electrical poles are shown on our existing.
Yeah, can you bring that up on the map, just so everyone can see it?
Make a different plan. For the site plan now. So there are, you know.
My understanding, Aaron has 3 poles. Where are those 3 poles? Aaron, where are you?
The poles are all.
What?
They're all in the plan, see, they're all on the decision. That's what you're asking.
Okay, my understanding is though that some of them are within where these things are.
Maybe.
Okay, thank you. Sarah,
My name is Sarah Stoke. I own multiple apartment buildings in Ashland, and I would like to, one of my apartment buildings is in a butter to this project. And I would like to say my husband and I do the best that we can to provide affordable housing for people to live in Ashland. We are landlords that are not the landlords that are jacking up the rent. We have our tenants coming up to us that are afraid of their rents going up due to this project. I also have, because I haven't been afraid to speak up, residents of Ashland message me and express their fears. I've also had residents of the Amesbrook or whatever the other affordable low-income housing, Ledgewood, are in Ashland. They've reached out to me because they are too afraid to speak up for themselves because of the drugs that are happening, because of the lack of maintenance that is happening in their apartment building. And I'm a landlord myself in town. That's disgusting that these people want to add in more housing to our community and they're not maintaining what they have. So I just want to read to the planning board, something I wrote, and it's not just coming from me, but this is coming from the town. Okay. I'm writing to express my opposition to the proposed housing development known as the Village at Mill Pond. I've attended numerous meetings, listened carefully, learned the information presented, and voiced concerns shared by many fellow residents. As the project continues to evolve, I find myself increasingly skeptical and confused about its intentions and impact. I'd like to outline several key concerns. As of July 7th, the Lakes Region Community Developers website states, this property will not offer subsidized housing and applicants must demonstrate sufficient income to afford the rents because this property does not offer rental subsidy. This directly contradicts what we were initially told, that income level would not be a barrier and rent would be capped at 30% of an individual's income. This is no longer an affordable housing project. It has effectively become a standard market rate apartment development. What began as senior housing initiative shifted to affordable housing and is now morphed into a project that excludes subsidized housing altogether. These shifting narratives are misleading to the citizens and taxpayers of Ashland. Frankly, it does not feel honest or fair to the community that has invested time and trust into understanding and supporting what we thought was a project focused on genuine affordability. Furthermore, in April 2025, the MRB Group conducted a fiscal impact analysis report estimating that the Mill Pond project would cost the town approximately $476,520 annually. This means that the town would need to raise nearly $500,000 each year to support the additional municipal services and infrastructure the project would require. As a result, Ashland's total tax commitment, including municipal, county, state education, and local education, would increase from $8 million, or about $8.2 million to $8.7 million. This represents a 6% increase. For homeowners, this would mean an additional $60 per $1,000 of assessed property value, a substantial financial burden for many households in our community. There are also significant historical concerns. The Mill Pond Dam in Ashland is historically tied to the Ashland Grist Mill, which has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places since 1979. According to New Hampshire RSA 227C, this state law establishes the framework for historic preservation in New Hampshire, recognizing the importance of the state's heritage and the need to protect it from the impact of development. Wouldn't a development that disrupts water flow, affects water quality, and introduces new infrastructure like power lines in this historical significant area violate the intent of the statute? For these reasons, raising from financial strain on taxpayers to the abandonment of affordability promises, this potential harm to our historic district, I respectfully urge the planning board to reconsider approving this project in its current form. So those of you who ask how you can help, write letters. Don't be afraid. We need to speak up as one. We need to help each other out. That's my voice.
Okay. You have a rebuttal.
Well, a couple things. I said this before and I will repeat it, so hopefully it sticks a little bit this time. So there is not rental subsidy at this property. There is not a HUD regulated rental subsidy. So Ledgewood Estates that we currently own does have that. That is subsidized. This proposed development does not have that.
I do believe in previous presentations, but I have no, I just want to clarify what I said. In previous.
Yeah, Sarah,
presentations-
direct them to me.
Sorry, Kendall, in previous presentations that I've attended, I thought that I understood that they said that anybody could apply for one of their apartments and that their rent would be 30% of their income. So I could be working at Burger King and my rent would only be 30% of my income, or I could be a teacher here and my rent would be 30% of my income. And that because both of them were paying 30% of their income, that it was fair. But you can't do that with this, correct? So I do believe in the past it was presented that way.
But they've moved on at this point, I'm gonna say. You have moved on to that. It's no longer the case, correct?
What, the 30% income?
Correct.
Okay. All LIHTC properties have restrictions for area median income. You can have 60%, 50%, 30%. So an individual needs to make up to 30% of the Grafton County area median income to qualify. Their income has to qualify at 50% of the area median income of Grafton County, and the same goes for the 6% units. So if an individual qualifies with their income up to 60% of the area median income in Grafton County, they will then that make sense?
I understand what you're saying, but I think that the way it was previously presented is very misleading to a lot of the people in town. And I feel that, you know, we're being told different phrases and different things, and it's just,
Okay,
it's not fair to the townspeople, is what I'm saying. And my big thing, like I said, I have people that are messaging
Yeah.
me who that live at,
I understand.
it's frustrating as a
I
town.
understand and we note that. We're going to move on.
I'd just like to respond briefly and just say, it's a complicated subject matter for people that don't work in it. I don't work in it every day and it's confusing to me. And we're gonna put together something to submit in writing that we hope will explain it better in a way that is more readable. So hopefully that will be helpful.
Okay, Linda?
Yeah. So again, bear with me because part of my head needs to kind of. Kendall said earlier in response to some of the questions that we are bound by the rules and the regulations that govern the planning. Those rules and regulations have been developed over time, just like the ones for the zoning board. And voted on in warrant articles, so. The planning board has a set of rules and regulations we are bound by. Sometimes they protect us, because whoever put them in place back in whatever day didn't necessarily anticipate everything that might eventually happen. So sometimes you don't know that there's a loophole in something until someone finds the loophole, and then whoever finds the loophole, as long as that's part of the planning board regulations, can work within that loophole. And the hands of the planning board to that degree are tough. Guidelines that have anything to do with the financial impact on the town. That is not within the rules and regulations that have to govern our decisions. So whatever our individual feelings on that, the rules that we have to follow say, does it meet this set of criteria? If it does, then we're bound by that, whatever our personal feelings. Is that my right so far?
I believe so.
Okay. Second set of rules are the state laws. That's the environmental laws, the, laws about any and all of the state laws and related permits that a development has to adhere to. All of those state environmental laws and so on are, as Kendall said earlier, are outside of our authority, but we can require that those permits have to be secured for any building to happen. Okay, so if for whatever reason the DES does not grant permits, then building can't happen until those permits are in hand. We have no say over that, except to say, we want to see the following permits secured.
And they will have public hearings as well, that everyone can weigh in on.
Yeah, and so those are two separate sets of rules that a developer has to abide by. But there are limits to what we can require. Except that we can require that state laws and so on be followed and in detail and so on. And even if it's to say that if we conditionally approve something, it's conditional that any actual building cannot start without all of those protections. So even if, let's hypothetically say that the plans meet all of the planning board criteria, and we issue a conditional approval, that doesn't mean that building can start. Because all of these other permitting issues would have to be resolved. Did I say that accurately? Okay, these are things I have to sort out, so I'm assuming that they confuse me, maybe they confuse other people.
All right, I'm gonna recognize Mr. Letourneau and Mr. Perry, Perret first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will try to be brief. Gonna give you some background to start with. Well, hey.
Anne Marie laughed, I have to smile.
There's a little background. I grew up in New Hampshire. Now, I was raised in Salem, New Hampshire. When I was growing up in a small community. Today, 30,000 people. My wife and I, when we got married, were living in Salem and we moved to Derry, which was a small community, about 7,000 people at the time. It's now 34,000 people. So what I'm telling you is, I've seen this movie before. This is what it is. You're hearing all of these facts and figures and they're all, it's all correct. But the bottom line is, Nashville is in the middle of the state, geographical center of the state, and it's one of the most beautiful towns in the state. I'm a photographer and I have photographs of this town that are absolutely stunning. This place is beautiful. This project is gonna ruin this. This project, they have misled us so many times, so many ways, as people are pointing out here. We've been misled. Everything keeps changing. I have said consistently, there is environmental impact down there that has not been addressed. There is impacts on roads that have not been addressed. I spent 14 years on a transportation committee in the legislature and 8 years as the Senate chairman. These road projects have to be approved by the state. Has to be approved by the state DOT. The environmental issues have to be approved by the DES. They have the power and the law to take care of this. And they're going to have to do it. Because this project has a whole host of unknowns. There's so many unknowns in this project, it makes people dizzy. This board has worked very, very hard to make sure that they are crossing all their T's and dotting all their I's. Make no mistake. They're not making any favoritism towards anything. They're going by the law, rules and regulations in this state have the force and effect of law. And that's true story. People think rules and regulations is to be broken. Oh no, you can end up in jail for breaking rules and regulations. They have the force and effect of law. Don't ever forget that. So my recommendation is to this board is that forever stand your ground and do what you can. But I recommend that you do not approve anything this project. This project will be the detriment of this town. We've seen all the numbers. The numbers they have given you tonight, in my opinion, are extremely low. That's a total, and there's $1 million that they will need. That's just the school. Then we get the town services, get the fire department, police department, the water, sewer, everything's gonna be impacted. Those numbers are extremely low. 100 people in this town, according to the census, about 500 of us pay the taxes. Right, yeah.
And there'll be like 100, but if this passed.
Okay.
people don't leave.
I am just pointing out these facts.
Yep.
And that's my recommendation to the board.
Thank you.
And you are representing the
Yes,
town
thank
and
you.
us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Perry,
Yeah, I work for Reagan. I have a.
Thank you, Bob.
Basically, where you question in the statement, as in the past with any large expenditure, i.e. the elementary school, the incinerator, even down to a fire truck or a police vehicle. We always vote on these articles, okay? My question is this a warrant article?
it is not.
It was made a warrant article. So,
Cannot. Is it, the attorney just shook his head to me. But it is a planning board. It's not, it comes before the planning board. We are your representatives for that. It is not a warrant article issue. I don't,
well, it's
no way, right?
as in what with the incinerator, correct?
The incinerator was a totally different thing. It never came before the planning board.
And I'm following that guideline. Does it need to be,
The incinerator was not a land use board issue.
not the wish of the people, not the wish of the tax.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, it is the book that you vote on in March as we change it and add stuff to it. It is your zoning ordinance, your site plan ordinance, your driveway ordinances, all of those ordinances. The voters have a say in it when we bring those up. They'll be bringing up some more this year.
So there's a loophole right there.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it does not go before the voters to vote on. We have to follow what the voters have told us in the zoning ordinance. Correct? Yes.
Yeah, so going back to when we were talking about rules and regulations, those rules and regulations are what the voters do vote on in warrant articles. The existing rules and regulations allow for the proposal of developments like this. The planning board has the job of updating and revising and proposing to voters revisions to those rules. Again, that's the warrant article point. But at the time a proposal comes forward, it comes forward under the existing rules and regulations, not under future ones.
And the master plan is a big part of that, which I'm sure you're going to see a warrant article this year to update our master plan.
Right now, we're bound by the current rules and regulations
Right.
that the voters decide.
Yvonne?
Going back to, misleading, and I've said it before and I've submitted, my survey, the maps that they have on my property, which is one in the road, are all wrong, even where they have my buildings. When we did the walk, I pointed out they put buildings under there, but nothing totally off, we have that property driveway. And so, yeah, talking about widening the road, there's my building already.
It's not correctly depicted upon the plan is what you're saying.
Yeah, it is up, the first map they put up.
Okay.
Was they had buildings that did not depict what actually on. Also, we're talking about like taxes and how
Exactly.
much money it's going to cost, but they don't even know the cost to the taxpayer, just
No, we do not.
We do know,
We do not.
we will not.
And we will not until such time as it comes on.
Because it's gonna just decide the limit, in my opinion, it's just gonna keep going up and up, but how are they gonna clean all that? Oh, something else is gonna come up. Something else, and then we won't know. We'll just continue with the tax. And the taxpayers will pay as you pay that it's through funding, especially the grants that comes from taxpayers. And as far as the vote for, I feel like one is go through to, if it's voted on, then I just feel like any other obstacle are gonna just leave, and so, but then they have more EDS, well, we'll just have a thing that, and then, of course, that continually raise price. As far as the road, I guess that's not a big deal.
Okay.
But the road will be, we'll have to pay for it.
Ms. Hartley.
Rebecca Hartley as myself, not as a town representative. I just wanted to point out, because the Mill Pond project is people buying land. Who wouldn't want me to stop you from buying land, or this board, or any other board? you have a right to buy land and do what you want on it.
I think
It's 2 points, right? But the reason why we were voting on the trash and energy project was because that was a town project that was going to, we were going to supply the money out of our taxes. That's the difference why, and thank you for doing your jobs and putting in the good work. But that's the difference between the two projects is this is a private project that has nothing to do with the town.
That's gonna take our money versus us voluntarily giving our money to help with something.
Well, there you go.
But, okay.
All right,
Kendall, I have a question.
Yeah, I mean,
I got one last thing, please.
no.
I just want to thank all the people that have done a lot of math to present the facts as far as what this is gonna cost a typical taxpayer. I think companies that come in with this big project like this, that's gonna increase or affect the town the way this is going to affect a small town, is just gonna destroy a lot of people in this town.
so
And
noted.
I just want, my job when I was working on the outside was math. If the math doesn't work, it's not gonna work. Just keep that in the back of your head.
This point,
Sir in the blue shirt.
and it's not all up by Cooper's Way. So first of all, I appreciate this conversation and your clarifications in particular. I'm sorry, I forget your name, but
Oh, Linda,
thank you, Linda. The idea that you are bound by the rules that exist today, and that essentially the time that this proposal comes in, you have to apply the rules that exist today. What process, if any, is there to adjust those, for us to help you, create other rules that might now be more relevant and we understand the impact of existing rules? Is there a process that allows us?
There is a process that allows it. This past Tuesday, we had a work session to work on rules and regulations and so forth. We have training stuff that we do as well. We are working on a proposal. We're taking the subdivision, everything we're looking at, making adjustments to, and that's a constant ongoing procedure. Welcome to attend any one of those meetings, and we're happy to do stuff. We are working on the master plan as well. I believe there will be a proposal to go before the town to get the new master plan going. And once that's happened, we need all the input we can get from the community to develop the master plan, which then helps us to develop the rules and regulations even better.
And do those rules and regulations then factor into this decision?
No.
No,
Because-
not this one, because they're,
Timing of.
because of the timing, correct?
yeah, I think
Okay.
Kendall, yeah.
Yes.
So just to follow up on what Kendall was saying. We are, each year, we're taking sections of the zoning regulations, reviewing them, seeing if they really still address the needs of the town and so on. Those then come up for public hearing. So it isn't that we decide on them.
Right.
We draft them. Notices go out to the town, which is why it's so important for people to come to those hearings and weigh in and help troubleshoot and make sure that we're, that our draft is really getting it. That then translates into a warrant article that comes up for vote in the spring. Okay, so that's the process. We do a draft, adjusting zoning regulations, public hearings where you all need to be there. I know it's not the most interesting way to spend a Wednesday or a Tuesday or a Thursday evening, but come, weigh in, warrant article, be sure to vote.
So I'm just gonna kind of turn it back to what's at hand, because we're getting a little
Yeah.
everywhere right now. It's 8 o'clock. A lot of us have families that we can go home to. So if we can just,
Yeah.
sorry.
All right, so do you have something, did you want to say about 5.1 or something?
No, I just want to make sure that the private property dispute that the gentleman back there brought up is on record.
Okay, so we have apparently two property disputes from two different parties.
Okay.
One being these gentlemen back there, and the other being that young lady over there. Neither of which are depicted on the site plan.
Actually,
We have some responsible.
It's
I
fine.
just wanted to, the comment that you made about your property on Mill Pond Lane, I get that is something that came up with, I guess, a sidewalk, so you did have your property surveyed and let us know who that was. So our surveyors, corresponded with your surveyor, they've given us a copy of that survey. Our plans have been updated, I should have a copy of it right there if you want a copy of it, you can go to it. So we have updated our plans. I think both surveys agreed that the property line on Mill Pond Lane was shown, we showed it the same spot. What was different was the buildings that we showed. We never really had gone onto your property, we didn't have permission to do that, to survey the house location, so we've just taken data plus the town tax maps and if it was available online, which is always a little bit off to show butters, property house. So we have updated our plans to show what your survey is showing on your house, but the property line is not in dispute as far as I know from our surveyor talking about. So I just want you to know that we have that.
Ms. Downey, is that correct?
Yeah, I do have like this my spending forever.
Right, the houses, but the property line itself is what is working,
I'll have to look at the third.
please come up and look at it.
Yeah. She can take that.
Can get a copy of that.
Like the cost where you said there is a change. We have no idea. So I don't know if that would like interfere with like decision or like. If that was taken.
The only thing we're discussing right now is your property line, is it's depicted in the correct location? Yes or no? Please check. Aaron, you had something you wanted to say.
I just wanted to ask the board, are they legally allowed to continue with this process while our private rights are being expired? Yes.
The big question. I think it's been said a couple times that there are certain rules and regulations that bind planning board. Certainly, some of those rules and regulations have requirements as to depict easements, they have requirements as to establish ownership of your property that you're seeking to develop. And I'll let the board discuss it further. But certainly, private property rights in development and disputes to those do occur from time to time, and sometimes those issues need to get addressed as part of the project.
But shouldn't that be addressed first before they like?
Hold on.
Yeah, so I guess like if we're, I'm hearing that I heard from the attorney here that, not our attorney, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. That the board can and should accept a proposal that has active disputes or what to be figured out later on, but I'm not sure that that's in accordance with 5.1, where it says all easements need to be accounted for. So if we can't see legal access, we have grounds to deny until that's resolved. It doesn't feel like we can without.
Are you referring to 5.1 of the site plan regulation?
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay,
So,
just for clarification.
yeah, thank you. So until that's addressed, how are it would feel like we're not making an informed decision to accept it until that's resolved.
Okay. Do you have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to deny until that's resolved.
What if it can't be resolved? They don't want to agree to it.
Hold on.
Guys,
Quiet.
let us have a
Okay,
conversation, please.
so
Yeah, I feel like I've been taking notes throughout the conversation, and if the ownership issue has been addressed, then I don't think we can accept it, and instead, like, I think we should deny it, and then they can reapply when it's been resolved.
okay,
Can you clarify the application you're speaking about right now?
Was it the
actually,
Which is the one with the easement of it? I think he was saying.
it's a site plan.
So both.
It's really both, but
Yes,
it's site
it's
plan.
both. And so we're open in the public, I mean, do any of you agree with that, or? do you
No,
think-
it's not open to the public. at
No, I
this
mean
point.
us. I mean, but we can talk about it openly because.
Right, first of all, I need a second.
I'll make the second.
I have a second on your motion. Could you actually write your motion down for me?
Could you make that clearer, Mr.?
I'm making a motion to deny the application. Both applications due to the unresolved property dispute issue.
Under 5.1 of the site plan specifically to survey boundaries, boundary line markers, abutters, names, setback, front and rear sides, all easements, buffers, or overlay zones, water bodies, and water courses.
That's a requirement of our site plan. From this, so.
Okay,
I can write it out if you like.
I have-
I think I have a second.
I have a second. Do I have discussion? Do I have discussion, Linda?
So I have a question. You said earlier, if I remember correctly, that that dispute in your legal opinion was not grounds for denial. Would you say more about that if I was
Yeah,
correct?
so I don't have the regulations in front of me. I do agree that when you're applying for site plan approval, you need to depict those sorts of things on your site plan application. But I view this as a separate private property dispute between two owners that is not relevant to the site plan review process.
Except that our regulations is it
And
is.
what, the way that I read those regulations, again, without having them in front of me.
I can show it, it doesn't matter. I
It
can show
doesn't matter.
it.
It's fine. Okay, do I have further discussion on the board? Hearing no discussion, I will call the question and we will do a roll call vote. Bethany, how you vote?
How do we vote?
Do you vote in approval of the denial of the motion
The denial, yes,
of the site plan?
yes.
Ms. Ferris? Ms. Ferris?
I vote to deny.
Mr. Fitch?
I vote to deny.
Ms. Barnes?
To deny.
And myself to deny. So the site plan is denied until such time as those can be resolved. What? Do you have anything else that you'd like?
Hold on, guys, we haven't adjourned yet. so
Yeah, we have not adjourned.
Hold on.
It looks like Mill Pond is done.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else or? Like the second half of your application? Okay, so I will close the hearing on Mill Pond. Well, that's what I thought we were gonna do, but. What else?
Yeah, they're over it.
All right, yeah, yeah. So, do I have a motion to close? What?
All of your thoughts, your concerns, your feelings, and everything that's going on right now. We are still in a meeting and we'd like to be respected as such.
All right, do I have a motion to close the public hearing then?
I so motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Fair, Ms. Franz. Second by Tricia to close the public hearing on Mill Pond. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next order of business.
That was just the first.
Oh, yeah. We just gotta find it. Okay. Schamberger. We had a little issue that came up with the lot, sublot division that we did, that they are not on a public road or a class 6 road. I would entertain a motion from the board to refer to the selectmen for a waiver of liability for what is known as Hicks Hill Road. I have a motion by Tricia, second by Bethany. Any discussion?
Yes.
All those in favor of sending the Schamberger file to the selectmen for a waiver of liability, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
One abstention, 4 yes. Okay,
There's a gentleman, I didn't see it.
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
I know they have.
I'm the only owner of that road.
Environmental-
But please come forward.
They don't own the price.
If people could, again, take their conversation outside.
and the owner of the property, exactly what issue came up with the road.
So the issue is that it's not a dissolve, we were under the impression it was a class 6 road. It is not. It is not a road at all. It's over property.
What we tried to articulate to the inspector.
Yeah.
Through a couple emails, when I bought that property in 2015. We did some research on it.
Okay.
Spent some time and money on it. The road was discontinued. It was a town road. It was discontinued in 1926. We found we have a
Okay,
document.
we 1940 is when the town took a vote on it.
In 1940, they found out in 1926 it was discontinued. They again discontinued it in 1940.
Right.
And for some reason, they decided to do it again in 1972.
Okay.
Ashland's like that.
What's that?
Ashland's like that.
So they did it
Just
three times.
want to be sure.
They wanted to.
But when I bought that property, that was before I bought that property, and that was a concern of mine, so I did my homework on it. After we have correspondence with the board of that time, they also agreed that it was a discontinued road,
Mhm.
a complete discontinued.
Yep.
road, Not subject.
So
to-
we all agree.
Okay, being a complete discontinued road, there's definitions that come along with the discontinued road.
Correct.
And one of those definitions is the town has no responsibility to that road whatsoever.
Correct.
It's not a public access anymore.
Correct.
It's no longer a public right of way.
Correct.
The land itself reverts back to the owners of both sides,
Correct.
okay? Which becomes, by state law, if it's needed, an ingress or egress for anybody living on that property.
That is correct.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm 100% fine with any waivers. I just don't wanna sign a waiver that would also give you guys the right to ever take that road back.
No, that's not what the waiver does.
Okay.
The waiver says that due to it being not a road
Right.
and a.
It's a discontinued road.
Discontinued
That is the
road,
road.
that. And the length from which it is from 175 to the building spots,
400 feet.
yeah, and then to your house,
It's approximately 900 feet,
Okay.
but I own both sides all the way up. I own
Correct.
100 acres around. it.
and we do not plow it, we don't maintain
don't
it,
do
we have
it.
nothing to do
We
with it.
actually rebuilt the road.
Understood. What this
It
does,
is a road. You
but
tell me
this-
it wasn't a road.
no,
It is a road.
it is not a road.
It's a discontinued road.
It's not a road.
It's a discontinued road. There is preference about a discontinued road. State
As
statute says there is.
you said,
Yeah.
in 1926, 1940, and 1972 was voted to discontinue.
Right, it's not a town.
Right. So because it's not a town road, it's not maintained and everything, and due to the length of it, the selectman would like, or the town building inspector
Yeah.
is concerned that emergency apparatus may not be able to get to you in a timely fashion.
Which is,
And this just put, the waiver of liability puts you on notice of that. That's
Yeah.
all it does.
we are happy with that. My concern is by signing the waiver of liability with the discontinued road, it's very clear in statute, state statute, that the town already assumes that. It already is explicit in law. It's in there.
So,
Okay, we're just being redundant. Now, with that being said, we can prove that. I don't have a problem. I have written literature and stamp
we
literature.
just need something on file with them.
We tried to give it to him, and this is where we've come to.
Yeah.
Okay, and I believe she tried to get in 2 nights ago, and you said it wasn't a public meeting, and she
Right, it
couldn't
was
get
a
in.
work session.
But it was public, right?
It was public. I
But
told her
you
she
told
could.
her,
No,
you
I told her
she.
I told her she could come
Did
in.
did he tell you that?
I
did
told her
not.
you couldn't
And we
speak.
have proof. There was another fellow with you.
No, I actually produced sheet.
No, she tried to go in. She tried to give you the documentation, so we don't have to get to here.
No, she
But
did
let's
not
just
try to
let
give
it
it to
fly,
me.
all right? We'll let that be a bygone, all right? Our point is this, if we sign any waivers, we're being redundant here. The discontinued road is already an assumption of no services down that road. It's already there. It's clear in statute. You can look it up. It's there. There's case law on it that we looked up.
Mhm.
It's there as early as 2020, 2021. All right? All we're saying is, we don't, he came in, he said, oh, you're gonna have to get a lot line adjustment. You told her 2 nights ago that nobody can travel down that road. We've been traveling down that road since 2015 with correspondence from the board of that time that said it's absolutely fine to travel down that road. That is your road. That is our road. It's a private road. It's also our butter has right to the center line. We have right, she only has a couple hundred feet, right? You with me on that? So I'm not sure, he's saying that we need to get lot line adjustments. We need, that we can't, that's not a right of way. It's absolutely a right of ingress and egress for that plot of land up there. And we just want to be in compliance with you. But I don't know why it turned into, you can't travel down that road, you can't, we're gonna put a stop. He told her to go ahead and order concrete, so she did. He fired off an email last night, said, I'm done with this conversation. She had to call off concrete today, which cost us a couple $1,000 to do. He said that we can, because the road goes back to the abutters and we only own to the center of the road, we can drive down our half of the road. That's not what the law intends. The law clearly states that that road is available to us and also to our neighbors. And we don't need a written right of way. He told us we have to assign a right of way to her. She has to sign a right of way to us, and that's not the case. She doesn't use that land and she'll sign away anything. I just want to be clear and I want to be forthright with you guys that I think we're being redundant. I really don't want to sign any papers because by signing papers, what that tells you guys is that it's not a discontinued road. It's a discontinued road subject to bar and chains, which is not the case here. Well, it's okay. You can have an
This
opinion.
is a requirement. I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
This is a requirement on all subdivisions that are on a class 6.
We're not on class 6.
Can I finish,
Yeah,
sir?
you can.
A class 6 or a private way
Yeah.
is that the town requires a specific agreement that gets recorded that simply says, the town has no liability. We're not gonna plow you. We're not gonna fix your road if it washes out. And you agree that if we can't get a fire truck down there, the town's not liable.
It's already there.
You don't
But
understand.
it's
It
not
has to be
recorded.
at
This is
the
to
registry.
record it at the registry of deeds.
All towns require this.
Yeah.
It's recorded as a discontinued.
No, it is not.
It's
Not the
recorded,
agreement.
It's not recorded.
But yet it's on file with the town.
It's not. It's on file in the town
I got
reports.
another
and so
letter
forth.
from the town that says it is.
Yeah, it's, but it's
you
not
need-
recorded at the registry of
A
deeds.
search of the records revealed that Hicks Hill Road has been discontinued by the town vote in 1926 for one section of Hicks Hill Road, which is the section that we're talking about, okay? With a disconnected road, this is correspondence from the planning board, by the way. The town has no ownership of the road.
Correct.
And so the ownership reverts back to the abutters of the property.
Correct. I'm not arguing that.
We're not arguing any of
So
that.
when you go into the definition of discontinued road, all these assumptions you want us to sign comes with it.
But in this day and age, this is what legal requires us to do for anyone that puts a subdivision on a private way or a class 6 road.
Which I'm
You're
fine.
not be treating anybody, you're not being treated any different from
Well, he
any
told
other
us, he
subdivision.
told her 2 days ago that nobody can travel that road.
That's not true.
She posted it.
That is not true. That is not what I said.
You said to her, oh, and you're a broker, a licensed broker, and you walked away and you kind of did one of them, ha, type of things, right? Come on.
Okay, first of all, let's get back to the.
Yeah, let's get back, but it's
Do you
true what
want
you did.
to?
No, it's
I'm a little just upset about it. Now, with that being said, I'll sign it. But I don't want there to be any classification of that road other than what it is.
So
Discontinued road,
that is not within our purview. That is in the purview of the selectmen.
Which, okay,
Okay.
I'm fine with.
So you will go. They will have it something drawn up. They'll talk with you, your attorney, whoever you want, and then you'll hash it all out with them.
I don't know if there needs to be a hash out. I just wanna, I don't wanna give up any
They want
rights.
you to be happy as well.
Yeah, right. I just, chief would like to.
The fire chief would like to make a comment.
Absolutely.
Still listed as Hicks Hill Road by 911 guidelines. It cannot continue that way. That's why you had a driveway on Route 175. Now that it's been subdivided, it has to have a road name.
We're fine.
Because you got 2 people there and it's greater than 200 feet.
Appreciate that. We would
That's
definitely be
my
happy to do that.
guideline that 911 established when they started, because I can't get all the way through that road perfectly.
Absolutely appreciate that. We agree with that. We just didn't want to be responsible at this point. I've been living there for 15 years. We've been traveling that road for 15 years. And all of a sudden, 2 people are coming from the town telling us we can't run down that road. It's a little nerve wracking for us. It was said to us, okay? It was said to us. And actually, we probably have it in an email. That's why we're here tonight. Otherwise, it's not an issue.
Okay.
We just don't know where that came from and what its condition was.
That's all.
Okay.
It actually was my oversight and not realizing, I thought when I heard it was gonna be the driveway off 175, I didn't understand that it was gonna be the old Hicks Hill that was being used as the driveway.
Yeah, well,
So this
that,
agreement should have been brought up before you even.
I agree with that 100%. I
Okay.
agree with that.
Oh, I'm just saying that you get a.
But we were approved.
You are.
I assumed you guys already knew all that when we got
No,
approved.
actually,
We were approved.
when your, surveyor came, the class 6
I
came
watched
up,
that meeting.
right, the class 6 came up in that. And that's where we all made the assumption
I
from.
don't recall that class 6 coming up in that
Okay.
meeting. And I'll get the minutes on that, but it's not a class 6 road.
We understand that, and
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I just wanna make sure it doesn't become a class 6 because
it's not
that,
going to be.
I'll tell you the real reason behind all this. It's because in the future, and it might be her kids, it might be my other daughter's kids. I don't want the town to ever be able to come back and say, you know what, we wanna fix this road up and we wanna let people run through the town, through Hicks Hill and run all the way down into town. At this point, we own both sides of
Right.
most of the road and we wanna keep it private.
Yep.
That's all we're at,
Absolutely.
all right? We good?
Sorry to put you after
Very
that
good. We all
one.
agree.
What's that?
Sorry we didn't put you first in the agenda. That you-
That's all right, I appreciate you. No, we actually enjoyed the meeting, I love this.
Name it after yourself and then call it a day.
So we need, from what I understand, he wrote off some stuff that we need to come up with a name for the road.
Yeah, so as the fire chief just told you,
That's,
911,
you can suggest a name, but the select board needs to approve.
Yeah.
That's fine, beautiful. Now, he also said that we had to get our neighbors that has a portion of that road to sign off on the easement, which being a discontinued road, we already have an easement through there of egress and ingress.
Yeah.
So why would we need to get her to sign off? on it?
depending on where you have it,
Yeah.
as it, just depict it.
Okay.
50 feet on your side.
Yeah, it was a discontinued road that runs, her boundaries run along one side of the road, my boundaries run along the other side of the road, up until I own both sides of the road. And it was a town road that went up through, which reverted, we both own to the middle of the road now, we
Exactly.
both have access to that
Exactly.
egress and ingress. So we shouldn't have to get any written signatures or any of that.
Unless somebody that future that she sells her land to, so I can drive on half the road and then they can deny him the right to use it if it's not.
It's a discontinued road.
Doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
both have-
It is now your property and her property. If she decides that she wants to put a fence up in the middle of it, she could.
Who gets that?
So it protects both of you, just if you have a signed waiver,
Yeah.
because then that goes in with the deeds.
Alright.
Is this for the board or can this be?
This is really gonna be between you and the board of selectmen.
Okay, all right, cool.
Okay,
Yeah, no problem.
all right. Moving on. Correspondence. Those 5 of you who are going to the training, please see Jane. She has some additional information that she needs to take care of.
Mail from the seminar,
No, no, check.
where you have to pick the course that you want to attend.
Oh, no, I said I should.
And then you also have to sign up for the,
Took the.
Oh, no, can I get one of those possibly?
there's the email you have to respond to, you have to pick your lunch choice.
Try not to be.
And you have to, let them know what seminars you want to be a party to. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
When did you send that email? Yeah.
I didn't send it, it came from your directly, if you read, it came from the purple, the email that was registered to you.
John will show it to you. Next thing is places in the town around the Swan River that runs through town has now been declared by the federal government as being in a floodplain. Those houses are now required to have flood insurance. So we're gonna look into, and with the town manager, onto the National Flood Insurance Program and what it would, and if it's beneficial for us to be part of that. And lastly, as we talked about earlier, we need to start working on a warrant article for the master plan. That's gonna run around $10,000 as a warrant article. That is all that I have. Our next meeting will be October 2nd, 2025. Does anyone have anything else come before us? Okay, we have a motion to end it
Second,
at
third.
9. Thank you.
Need volunteers.
Oh, yes. Before you all leave, I need volunteers to help us put the chairs on that rack.
To get that.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Got you.
9:29, the meeting is about.
I have my last.
29. Linda, I need to over here.